thinner than she had expected, and more invigorating. Refocusing on her task, she strapped on her shoulder pack and checked the knotted rope encircling her waist for a second time, then untied her boots and placed one stockinged foot onto the felled tree. She tested her weight on the natural bridge and judged it would more than hold her. Even though the tree looked solid, she'd learned the hard way that things were not always as they appeared. She trailed her gaze along the length of the gnarled trunk to where it met with the opposite ledge, some 20 feet away. Heights had never bothered her, but once she started across, she purposed to never look down. Better to keep your focus on the goal rather than on the obstacles. She adjusted the weight of her pack, concentrating, focusing, and took that crucial first step.
"Don't you go falling there, Miss Westbrook."
Startled by the interruption, Elizabeth stepped back to safety and turned to look behind her. Josiah stood on the winding mountain trail, gripping the other end of the rope that was secured to a tree behind him. Uncertainty layered his mahogany features.
"I's just offering one last warning, ma'am, 'fore you set out."
Heart in her throat, she tried to sound kind. "I assure you I'm fine, Josiah. I've done this countless times." Though, granted, never over so great a height. But be it 8 feet or 800, the ability to traverse a chasm successfully lay in focus and balance. At least that's what she kept telling herself. "But it would help me if you would stop your screaming." His soft laughter was as deep as a canyon and gentle as the breeze.
"I ain't screaming, ma'am. Women folk, now they scream. Us men, we yells."
She threw him a reproving look. "Then please stop your man-like yelling." He tugged at the rim of his worn slouch hat.
"I won't be having to yell if you'd start acting like a normal-headed woman, instead of some hoople-head traipsing herself across a log for some picture of a bird's nest."
The felled tree was large, nearly 50 inches in circumference, hardly the log Josiah referred to, and crossing it to the opposite ledge would provide a better vantage point of the eagle's nest. The eyrie was built on a precipice jutting from the side of the mountain, slightly below the level of the cliff and some 30 feet beyond. The photograph of the nest with the chasm below and the mountains in the backdrop would be breathtaking, if she didn't fall and break her neck first. She'd crossed wider drop-offs on much narrower tree bridges than this. Doing such things always made her feel a little like a girl again, and took her back to a time when she hadn't yet been told that certain things were impossible. "May I remind you that I'm paying you very well," she raised a brow, appreciating the ease of banter they'd shared since the outset of their association, "to carry my equipment and assist me in my work, not to offer opinions on my decisions."
"Ain't no extra charge for them, ma'am. They's free."
She shook her head at his broad smile. For the past week, Josiah Birch had followed her instructions to the letter, as well he should. When properly motivated, the Washington Daily Chronicle had deep pockets. 2 other men had applied for the job as her assistant. They'd both seemed capable, but there was something about Josiah Birch that she innately trusted. He wasn't an educated man, but he knew how to read and write, and he'd learned to handle and mix the chemical solutions for her trade as fast as she had, and that he weighed twice what she did and held the excess in lean, hard muscle and in an honest, open gaze had only bolstered his non-existent resume. Focusing again, Elizabeth placed her right foot on the tree. Arms out.